All right, Madison, so we're sitting down towards the end of the semester here and going through uh, what can be sort of a practice plan, if you like, or a series of exercises or a circuit of exercises, as you might want to call it, starting from some of the very basic things, working through to hitting some little shots and then moving into some full shots. So it might be a great way for you to train on a daily basis. To watch this video maybe first and then go out and kind of do these things. So starting off with what we call a very basic pivot drill, getting the body pivot working. You can see here that what I've got you doing is just that little exercise right there. Okay, exaggerate slightly, but it's a great indication that you know that your right hip needs to be low. And what that does is when that right hip's just a little bit lower than the left, gives you just a nice little spine angle here to set up with. Maybe at this point here you've got about 55% of the weight on that forward foot. Now that really sets up the pivot, because as we now turn, we don't want these red lines to really sort of move very much. So as you go back now and into your pivot, you see how your spine stays on that red line, and your hips do too. The right hip isn't getting high, the left hip's not too low. You've really rotated very well here around a good spine angle. Your weight now is back into your right heel. Notice everything we do, we're doing with the foot wedge at the moment, okay? So weight's now into your right heel. All right, great, top of the backswing position. We get a transferring now into the front foot of the weight. Pressure starting to move forward, and then it starts to move back into the left heel as you open up. Notice how the right ankle rolls, which is something super important for you. The right knee doesn't come flying out in front, and the right hip stays down as you load into that left heel on the way through. Very good. Okay. From this angle here, again, starting off with the push of the right hip. Notice also how I always keep telling you to try to get your hips more underneath you. So that's an exercise of really sort of turning your hips underneath you. What that does is it flattens your lower back, so you're perfectly flat here in the lower back. And again, just optimizing your opportunity to turn. Okay, so now we're set up good. Okay, again from here it's just that basic pivot drill around the spine. Pressure goes into the right heel at this point, starts to move forward into the left side here, and then as you unwind, again, the right foot rolls, the right ankle rolls, the right hip is low, spine angle is the same, and the weight finishes towards the left heel as the right foot comes up towards the end. All right, great job. Now, this is another variation of the pivot drill. What it does is it just gives you an indication of where your hips are, especially coming through here, okay? This is important here. I want this whole right side to start moving down here as you're moving some pressure into that forward side. You know yourself how the right heel can come up early, the right knee can start to work out, the hips can start to lift. Now, this is a good sort of visual exercise for you to be able to turn and get that right side low as you do so. Okay? This is the same exercise from here. Again, it starts with a little push of that right hip just down, gives you that spine angle. Turn is excellent. Weight moves from right heel into the left side. The right hip down. Look how that pressure's down on that left side now. Into the left heel as the right ankle rolls in. All right. So you need a lot of these. You need thousands of them basically. Just you're trying to train your brain. You're not necessarily trying to train your muscles. Okay. You're trying to train your brain how to move your muscles. So it's not muscle memory. It's more about the brain telling the body what to do. Okay, so thousands of them. Now your band exercise is great. Again, we're working with the foot wedge and we're working with good posture. Okay, from here you're stretching the band, you're getting that rotation. Okay, what I like about this is that spine angle maintains, you don't get any lifting, right? This is something that we've seen in your swing, especially here towards the end of the semester, where you get that little bit of lift towards the end of the swing. Your spine angle drops back a little bit and your right hip can be high when you get that liftiness. So Certainly the right hip is not high here at this point. It's exaggerated a little bit here, but I don't mind that for practice so much for you. Okay, that's really good here. You just stretch that back, that band. So you're working the big muscles of your body as opposed to just lifting the club up with your arms. Good job. This is the same thing here. Again, posture is key. Can't tell you enough how important it is to engage that core, get the back flat. All right, your belt angle is much flatter than it used to be. You never want to see that curve in your lower back there. All right, that's going to probably lead to a high right hip and a poor pivot. So better here. Good, stretch it back. All right, nice kind of short, tight top of the backswing position. Notice there's not a whole lot of space in here between the elbows when you work this way. Okay, so really working here on just the backswing, just stretching that back and having a sort of short, compact look to the top of the backswing position. Next thing we did was I came in here and we worked on impact and beyond a little bit to get rid of, you know, what we might term as scoop. So now we've got the body pivot working well. What we're working on here is trying to maintain an angle between the back of the right arm, the forearm, the back of the right hand, and down into the shaft. Do a better line here. That way, okay? So you've got one of these bags at home, so if you can get some assistance or put it up against the wall somehow, lodge it somewhere where you can just kind of just whack into it. Notice also I encourage here your weight to be in that forward side as you do so. We don't want to be spinny with the hips and the pressure backing up. We want to keep the pressure forward. Okay, love the way your right foot is just rolling here and your ankle is quiet, your knee is quiet. Pressure's in the left heel and you're just banging into the bag here. That's a great one right there. Look, we'll pause that one and just see how much. Again, it's exaggerated, but that's the feel of anti-scoop, if you like. Okay? You're getting the big muscles to work. You're holding on to the lag angle a little bit. All right, and that's going to get you better compression on the golf ball. Notice I just square the face up a little bit there just to educate you on what the face should look like at that point. Great stuff. We've got the same thing from the side now. I come in, get the bag ready. And again, you can see how much different the way that you work your hips here and the way that the knee stays inside the toe line. And the right ankle rolls in as you hit into the bag. So that's a great exercise. Again, sort of thousands of them. Again, just getting your brain to change the way that your body moves. It takes a little while, but with these kind of drills, I think you can do it. Then we moved on to maybe hitting a few pitch shots, just doing the same thing. So again, great setup here. Again, we've got the foot wedge. Again, we've got a flat left back. Again, we've got a low right hip. And all we're doing here is just emulating what we did with the bag. So as you come through, again, it's pretty good here as you come through here. Notice the foot is quiet. Notice the knee's not working too much outside the toe line. Right hip is down. So there's no belly up in that. Right? There's no sort of throwing that middle forward and that right knee forward there. So I really like the way you hit that. And actually you sort of struck that really crisply and really well. And I love how the club's staying out in front of the hands here, which means that you're not scooping it. Okay. This is just the same thing from a different angle. Good setup. Make sure you got the club face square. You have a tendency sometimes for it to look a little open with maybe just a little bit of added loft to it, right? So make sure, put it up against a straight line sometimes and make sure that the club face is square. Okay, good setup. All right, so just again, sort of a little pitch shot back here, working that weight forward. Look how the hands are leading in. Okay, excellent here. Hands are leading in. All right, weight's coming through into the forward side. Excellent there. You're just trying to hold on as much as you can to that sort of that angle and letting that body rotate. So that's kind of your anti-scoop drill, okay? Good stuff. And then we finished off with a few swings. So good setup. We'll let this just play slowly back and through. You actually hit these very well. You struck them well. You were compressed. The ball flight was good. And more importantly, the shape of the shot was very similar in both shots that you hit. Great posture. Awesome looking posture. Okay? You got to keep working on those small exercises to build that big picture. All right? You got any questions? Or do you think we pretty much answered everything there?
Yeah, pretty much, except one question. When I start falling back onto my old habits, what drill is going to be the most beneficial for me to work on?
I think a combination of the pivot drill and the band.
Okay.
All right? Pivot drill and the band. None of the drills are any less important than the others, but I think that those two will get you back. All right?